What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Pablo Gargano, and this time we're going to listen to a tune from his Senza Volto album, 1997. Now, as you can see, I have two copies of it, and even though they look identical on the outside, they're actually different on the inside, which is to say this is a white label copy, which features white labels, as you might expect, as well as stickers indicating the tracks, and I don't know if this was done at all or for all of the white copies from Eve directly, but there's like permanent marker or like highlighter almost indicating which record side, meaning A, B, C, D, E, and F. It's a 3-record compilation, just like his Girantondo album from '98. So yes, this is a white label copy. This is a regular label copy, but it's slightly different than almost every other Eve record with the characteristic blue record labels, meaning on the B-sides it actually lists the tracks. Now, I don't think it says the artist, and that's sort of the point. Senza Volto without face, the idea, which apparently was something that they planned on or conceived of with Eve from the very beginning, because all of the regular releases, you know, the individual EPs of the album, it never said who the artist was. And although most of them were Pablo Gargano, a few of them are David Craig, but even those are like engineered by Pablo. So yeah, shout out to Pablo for not only putting out just the most amazing catalog, but it clearly for him like wasn't really about his name. It was more like, this is a label where you're going to get this type of sound, and he didn't feel the need to put his name like all over the records. Now, from a DJ point of view, it was a little annoying because it was like, oh, what track is that? It was like, it's Eve B-side track 2, like Eve B17 B2. So yeah, there was always an ambiguity until the era of Discogs, and it was like, oh wait, so most of this was the same guy, and like there actually are track names even though they weren't on the records. But this compilation, even the official version, not just the white label version, actually has track names. So I don't think it really matters. I think both of these albums are roughly in the same condition. We're going to listen to a tune called Grand Hall. And the releases, or the tracks on this compilation or album, are not for the most part found on the individual EPs on Eve. I think there might be one or two exceptions, but by and large these are all unique to this album. I think the same is actually true of Girantondo. Nevertheless, the Grand Hall track is, let's say, slightly more progressive melodic than a lot of the other Eve tunes he was putting out at this time. Now, it's still what I would call hard trance, it still has acid, it's still driving, but it's a bit more melodic atmospheric than some of the other stuff from Pablo in the mid-90s when, again, he's known for this really energetic, driving, and acidic flavor of melodic hard trance. So yes, I very much enjoy this one. It's a track that perhaps I wouldn't put in my all-time pantheon of Pablo, and yet I still think it's a special tune, in part because it's slightly more melodic. I would use it in an acid trance set that's on the more melodic, progressive end. So in any case, let's give it a listen. This is Pablo Gargano, Grand Hall, from his 1997 album, Senza Volto, on Eve. It's like a submarine ping, like radar. The sonar, technically, right? Sonar? Little wood tap rhythm. Oof. eccentricity of his production is just crazy good. Galloping rhythm to this one. It has this, I don't know how to describe it. I'll think about it in the outro. Something about the way the bass line and the percussion rhythms There's really no one like him. Again, I'm a huge fan of a number of mid-90s, late 90s acid-trance artists. I've talked before, Michael Kors, Nostrum I put just about on the same level. Commander Tom, as well as Commander Tom and Ray Boy as Mandala. Nuclear Hyde, which is to say Steinmeier. Like, there's a number of artists who I think are in the same, or on the same level, but when I come to think of a first among equals, it's gotta be Pablo. His tunes are magical. There's a combination of acid melody and drive slash energy that it's just this beautiful balance, and few people did it as well as him, even if, again, folks like especially Michael Kors and Nostrum, I would put, right there, like 1Bs to Pablo's 1A. But really, I think he's the all-time master. And even though, again, this is not even necessarily a tune I'd put in like my top 10 of Pablo, it's still a brilliant track. And it reminds me of another tune on here, which is a very similar flavor, meaning it's got an especially notable melodic flavor to it relative to some of the other stuff Pablo was doing at the same time, which is organic. Like, it's organic, but organ is set apart from the IC with a hyphen, so it's like organic. That tune, I think, is very much like this one, and I don't think I've reacted to it, so perhaps I'll come back and do that one soon. But yeah, nice to do a couple Pablo tracks after a while with him not on the channel, though I do think I did a, not overload, but certainly a lot of Pablo reactions in the very early days of my channel, because when I began doing reactions to acid trance and acid techno and other genres I've been buying a long time, his was like one of the catalogs that I wanted to explore right away. So in any case, we'll have more Pablo coming. Let me know what you think of this. I will see you next time. Peace.